What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today, with the conclusion of The Flash, I'm going to give you guys my ranking of The Flash's Speedster villains from worst to best. So coming in at number 13, and who I think is the worst Speedster villain on The Flash, I have Speed Force NORA. Now, the first question is she even a speedster? I mean, yeah, she is the Speed Force, but she doesn't even, it doesn't look like she uses speed when she goes places. It just looks like she just, disappears and reappears places. But nonetheless, she was an awful villain back in Season 7, the main villain of the Force's storyline, and yeah, there's not much else to say. I don't think there's a single thing I liked about her. She was just absolutely terrible. So now coming in at number 12, I have Trajectory. Now, I didn't really care for the Trajectory character at all. She wasn't really threatening whatsoever, and she was just basically used in Season 2 so Team Flash could figure out Zoom's identity. There was no real purpose to Trajectory being a villain, and it was just kind of pointless. So yeah, Trajectory number 12, I think personally is well deserved. Now, number 11, I have the Red Death. Now, the Red Death with the mask on is mid at best, but without the mask on, she is awful. She is terrible without the mask on. So cringe. Terrible acting from the actress. And yeah, the suit's also too bulky is what I realized when I was rewatching Season 9. So yeah, this Red Death was just a terrible villain mostly. I mean, when Red Death started to appear in the season, early in the season, she kind of seemed a little bit threatening. But as it went on, it was just awful. So yeah, Red Death at number 11. So now at number 10, I have GODSPEED. Now, GODSPEED had potential to be a really good villain. He just needed a few things. He needed a more threatening voice, because his voice was just stupid. He needed better writing, and he needed more time as the villain, because all those things just made him a terrible villain on The Flash. In Season 7, he just didn't get enough time. When he returned in Season 9, he was just terrible. He got defeated with ease by Cecile, and he's just an awful villain ever since his return in Season 9. He was even more cringe in Season 9 than Season 7, which is kind of hard to believe. So yeah, GODSPEED, while I guess a little bit better than Red Death, just because I like the suit a lot more than Red Death's, still a terrible villain. Now, number 9, I have Negative XS. Now, it's kind of crazy that I'm putting Negative XS over GODSPEED, but she wasn't that cringe. I mean, we barely saw her, but then again, we barely saw GODSPEED. There's literally 2 episodes on The Flash where we actually see August Hart be GODSPEED, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyways, Negative XS, we obviously saw in Season 9, Episode 12, when she got taken over by the Blue Crystal. So yeah, there was nothing exactly good about Negative XS, but I guess she was in a cool fight scene. But yeah, just nothing really that good. We barely saw her as a villain. And yeah, I guess still just not really threatening whatsoever. Now at number 8, I have Dark Kid Flash from Season 9, Episode 9. Obviously, this is when Kid Flash got taken over by Bloodwork. Like Negative XS, we didn't really see him that much because, obviously that only lasted for like not even half the episode that he was Dark Kid Flash. But his storyline that he had in that episode with the multiverse was really cool. I really like how Bloodwork put that into his master plan, which is why I think Dark Kid Flash is better than Negative XS and the other speedsters that I've named so far. So Dark Kid Flash at number 8. And number 7 is the Dark Flash from Season 6, Episode 8, I want to say. Dark Kid Flash and Negative XS, we did not see him enough, but the reason he's above Dark Kid Flash and Negative XS is because he was way more threatening. I mean, it is the Flash, he's the fastest speedster, but instead he's evil, which is a lot more threatening than the other one. So yeah, Dark Flash comes in at number 7. Now, number 6, I actually have the Rival. Now, I did not expect the Rival to be this high on my list, but I mean, I guess he's kind of a cool villain, despite not seeing him that much. He only really appeared in Season 3, Episode 1 and 2, I believe. He was a serviceable villain for the Flashpoint arc. I mean, even though Flashpoint was really disappointing, he was still serviceable and a decent part of that storyline, and I really like, his return in Episode 2 as well. I thought that was really cool. But something that should have happened is he should have fought Jay Garrick. The Rival is actually a Jay Garrick villain in the comics, so I think if he fought Jay Garrick, that would have made him a lot more better of a villain, in my opinion. And his suit does look pretty cool, I will admit. Some people don't exactly like it. I kind of do. So that's why the Rival is a lot higher than I thought here at number 6. Another speedster that I did not think would make it this high is Cobalt Blue at number 5. Now, the reason that Cobalt Blue is this high is not because he's, better than all the villains I've said. It's because all these other villains are just worse. Cobalt Blue is probably the biggest miss in the Flash's history. He could have been one of the best villains. His storyline and motivation in terms of like why he's a villain was there. It was there in season 9. But he just didn't get enough time. The writing was so cringe, and his lightning should have been blue. It kind of looks stupid that it was red. So I think if they, went about it more smartly, had somebody else write the show instead of Eric Wallace, and, gave him some more time to become a villain, like maybe instead of those interlude episodes in, episodes 6, 7, and 8 of season 9, you could have had the Cobalt Blue stuff start up then, and then we might have, 4 or 5 episodes where Eddie Thawne is the main villain as Cobalt Blue. And I think that would have actually been a lot better to see. But yeah, I think, for now, he's still going to sit here at number 5. And again, another speedster that I did not expect to put this high, number 4, I have the Black Flash. So yeah, it's really weird putting him in the top 4 because he doesn't even have an actor really. It's just a CGI character. But the reason I have him this high is because of his role in Legends of Tomorrow. Now I know what you guys are going to say. Obviously, that doesn't really make any sense because this is a Flash ranking, not Legends of Tomorrow. But he is a Flash character, so I'm going to give that to him. And the reason he's this high is because he was insanely threatening in Legends of Tomorrow. He's comic book accurate, and he looks really cool. He also shouldn't have been killed off. He's one of the, one of the biggest Flash characters in the comics. So yeah, I really liked whenever Black Flash was on the screen, and I think he's a really threatening villain. So yeah, Black Flash at number 4. And then you guys probably could have predicted the top 3. At number 3 is SAVITAR. I think he's very underrated. Obviously, I think, after watching the recent seasons of The Flash, we've all taken SAVITAR and Season 3 for granted. They're actually not that bad. His suit looks amazing, and he is super threatening because, all of Team Flash just knew that he was eventually going to kill Iris, so they have to try and stop him from doing that. So yeah, I think SAVITAR, criminally underrated villain, and sits here at number 3. And now at number 2, I have Zoom. Zoom is the most threatening villain on The Flash by far. He's insanely scary, and honestly, if his return in Season 9 was better, like he still had that threat level, and, if he, actually had good writing and, like I said, was still scary, then I think he could have been number 1, because he honestly started to overtake Reverse Flash as my favorite speedster villain on the show until Zoom returned in Season 9. But yeah, Zoom at number 2, obviously. In Season 2, he was fantastic. Like I said, the most scary villain in the Arrowverse. So yeah, Zoom at number 2. And then at number 1, you guys all saw this coming, is the Reverse Flash. His rivalry with Barry, I think, is partly what puts him number 1. He is pretty threatening, and, he is the villain of the Flash. Another thing that I think put him at number 1 for me is Matt Letcher coming back to play him in Season 9, Episode 10, and, creating that full circle moment. I think that really solidified his placement at number 1, and like I said, he is, the villain of the Flash. So yeah, guys, that was my ranking for my speedster villains. Make sure you guys comment your ranking down below, and anything else you have to say about the Flash. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.